Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joined today from the Fitchburg Public Works. I know it feels like, gosh, he's going to screw this up yet again. No, it is our sustainability specialist, Phil Groupies. Phil, welcome back to the show, and more importantly, happy fall, my friend.
Happy fall, happy almost November, happy almost end of daylight savings. I'm looking forward to the sun coming up before 10 a.m. again. That'll be nice. Yeah, it's been some great fall weather. I'm loving it. The rain today is fantastic. The weather in the low 60s. This is the dream.
It is. I think we've been treated to some pretty lucky weather thus far for fall. We know that we're going to get rainy days like this, and we'll actually talk about being prepared for rainy days in the fall season coming up a little bit later in the segment. But one thing that is happening is BCycle, and that program continues to move forward. And we've got a new station that I see is coming together. Well, a
Several.
couple of stations, but
Yeah.
one that I've been watching for up at City Hall, anyways.
Yep. So we had our 7 stations that were put in place this spring. A few weeks ago, some stations were added at the Mackenzie Workforce Center over on Verona Road and the Boys and Girls Club right off Allied Drive on Genuine. We also now have stations at the Dolly Bike Hub on Seminole Highway. We've got docks at Swan Creek Park and McGaw Park. We also have 4 down by the Senior Center. The last ones to go in this fall are going to be a couple up between the City Hall and Community Center. So we're kind of hitting the whole of Fitchburg Civic Campus. Really excited about that.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and if you haven't taken a ride yet, you need to do so. It is so nice to have access to the bikes. And are they going to be year-round, Phil?
They won't be year round. I don't remember the exact date, but early to mid December, I believe, is when bikes will be removed for the winter. And then mid April, they get that put back depending on weather specifics, but they target right around April 15th.
Yeah, they'll leave when it's raining out, and they'll come back when it's raining.
That's
No,
right.
it's good stuff there. All right, well, we'll keep up to date on that as more stations come together. I feel like a broken record bringing up the survey. The sustainability survey is still out there for folks to take, but this is a great opportunity again to help plan sustainability in Fitchburg. So we need people to take the survey, and if you want to join in on being a part of the group and sharing your knowledge and input on that plan.
Yeah, we're up over 400, right around 450 responses on the survey. My goal is still to get to 1,000. I'm told by our consultant if we get to 1,000 responses, we will set their mark for highest response rate for a community on one of these. So that's I feel like another reason to hit that goal. But we've also got a couple dozen responses for our the planning team that's going to help guide this plan, and would really love to get that up into the 30s or 40s as well. Just if you have feel like you have a stake in sustainability in Fitchburg, and most everybody should, we'd really love to get a variety of perspectives and make sure that we've got as many voices contributing to this as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about it in the past about the importance of this beyond sustainability. Sustainability means a lot of different things. So truly get involved in this. And if you haven't checked it out, fitchburgwi.gov, you'll be able to find that there through our website. All right, it is fall. And I said off the top, we've got fall here, winter's coming. So it's time to get ready for all of these things. And one of the things I think of years ago, Phil, and you don't know this, but I don't think you know this. We did a video about what to do with your leaves, because this time of year we all get bombarded with leaves, and in the last week, the leaves have fallen extensively because of the high winds, rain, and everything else. So we're probably at peak raking season. So what would you suggest people do with those leaves?
Well, after you've raked them into piles and thrown a football around, dive into those leaves, let your pets just get rambunctious and play around in those leaf piles. We all know that's one of the most fun things to do in the fall is playing in leaves. There are several different options. The biggest thing is that we really encourage people to keep leaves out of the streets. If leaves make their way into the streets, then they end up washing into storm drains. They get into our water bodies, and if you get too much of that dead leaf buildup in water bodies, as they break down in water, they actually will use up the oxygen in that water, and you can have a real problem for your water ecosystems that way. So we really want to do our best to keep leaves out of the streets. There's been a Keep Fitchburg Streets Leaf Free campaign for several autumns now, and we just keep on harping on that. It's an annual thing. Um, the the biggest things that people can do are if you have a relatively small amount of leaves, you can mulch those back into your lawn. You don't want to do too much because you actually can suffocate the grass over the winter, but a small amount of leaves can be mulched back into the lawn, and that will help to insulate the grass through the coming cold months. It will also help to provide some cover for invertebrates, insect larvae, and things that again are taking shelter over the winter. And then they can emerge next year, and we start talking about things like low mow May and to give those invertebrates a boost. You can also go ahead and bag up those leaves, and we have we have a drop-off site on South Fish Hatchery Road by our public maintenance building. There's, of course, the styrofoam and cardboard recycling there. There's also a yard waste drop off, so you can bag up your leaves and take them down there, and then they'll be picked up and composted or turned into mulch. So those are the best things you can do with your leaves are to mulch them back into your lawn or garden, or take them to be dropped off. If you have woods behind your house, just dump them off in the rake your leaves into your woods, and they'll break down naturally there as well.
Composting leaves is pretty incredible. I tried it about 4 or 5 years now. I've always put them in my garden where I live, and it's incredible. I have never had a problem with not having them compost over wintertime. And the dirt in my garden is so fluffy and moist, and things grow like crazy. So I'm truly into putting those in your garden and composting.
Yeah,
It
composting
works
is
so well. It's
composting is
cool to
great.
see too. I mean, it's amazing that something like all of those leaves can break down so much.
Yeah, there's a ton to learn about composting. I just know a little bit of it. I have my little kind of compost tumbler at home and do my best to keep that going throughout the year. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty
leaves are
cool.
a great addition there.
Yeah. Also, as we go into transitioning into winter, and I know nobody wants to hear this, but salt is something that becomes very instrumental in making it easy for us not to slip, fall, get to point A to point B. But being salt wise, super important. And there's some salt wise training information out there, not just for contractors, not just for public works, for everyone.
Yep. Yeah. So there is saltwise training that Dane County municipalities and other Wisconsin municipalities take part in. And this is really about, as you mentioned, it's targeted at contractors, but any individual can learn these same basics. It's really about making sure that we're using salt to melt enough ice that our sidewalks and roads are safe without overdoing it. Any amount of salt that you put on those hardscapes is probably going to end up in our water systems, and again, too much of that can really be problematic. Salt is very difficult to remove once it has dissolved into the water. It's really difficult, really expensive to get the salt out, and so we just want to minimize how much is going in there. You can check on Dane County's website. Yeah, I believe you should be able to check on Fitchburg's website as well for salt-wise information. And yeah, that's a push that we'll be making this winter as well as we get towards snow and ice season.
Yeah, and with an El Nino type of year, they'll be a little bit warmer, so we might see more of that ice build up this year. Unfortunately, we'll have to see
Yep.
what comes. But being salt wise, is super important to take. And trust me, you'll change your mind if you read some of the resources out there. And when you think of the long term effects of what's happening with salt, it'll change your mind pretty quickly on why and when and how you should use it. So check it out for sure. Really quick, you did want to cover too, just thinking about winterizing at home, because we all want to save some dollars and not let that heat escape out, and or other things to be green as you go into the wintertime.
Yeah, fall and winter are coming, as you said. Well, fall is here. So as temperatures drop, anytime you get the extremes hot or cold, you start to think about your energy bills and energy usage. Um, Maybe we feel like we notice it more in the winter. Certainly, using heat can get pretty expensive when we get those low temperatures. Um, I spent several years working for energy efficiency companies doing stuff like Wisconsin's Focus on Energy program, which is a fantastic way to get instant rebates or refunds back, depending on what sorts of improvements you make in your home. But this is everything from the thing people think about first, probably, is replacing or upgrading furnaces, air conditioners, water heaters, and windows and doors. And these are all great. Um, but even before that, I'd recommend, if you haven't done so, get an energy audit and look into insulation and air sealing. If you've got any kind of leakiness, this might be something that can be solved with something as simple as weather stripping around your door or windows. It might also be that you've got some sort of sagging or compacting insulation in your walls, and so you've now got some bare spots in the walls that it's easier for warm air to leak through one direction or the other. So getting insulation and air sealing done can make a big difference. That reduces the total energy usage in your house, and now there's a lot less that you're looking to replace with higher efficiency equipment, which still a great option. You can, if you've got a furnace that's only 90% efficient, you could get one for 95, 96, 98% efficiency and get a refund from Focus on Energy for that. But all these are great things to do. That there is, of course, an upfront cost to get something that is more efficient than normal, but it should pay itself off in the long run with lower energy bills.
I mean, I know some people really like to keep it really warm and toasty in there, but taking these things will help keep that warm and toasty as well, and not let some of those things escape. And yeah, Focus on Energy. They have a lot of great resources there too, talking about what Phil talked about, and even getting some of those kits, which are pretty cool as well. All right, Phil, if people want to stay engaged, involved, or just want to take that survey, where can they find you?
Go to fitchburgwi.gov, City of Fitchburg's website. Check out, you can search for the sustainability plan there. You can search for Green Fitchburg. There's a whole bunch of resources, information there. You can go to the city's Notify Me link and sign up to receive the Green e-newsletter that goes out every couple of months. Yeah, those are great resources, or just look online for any questions you've got. There's a lot of fantastic information out there, and if you're not sure how to dig through it, get in touch with somebody from the city and like me, and be happy to help.
Just look for Phil. He'll be out
Just
there.
Look for me. I'm around.
Oh, Phil, thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you in the month of November.
Yeah, have a happy Halloween.